Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to Tisha After Dark. All right, I got a question for y'all. So, usually I'll take myself out like every so often on like a solo date, right? Because you need to treat yourself. You got to take care of yourself. You got to set the standard for yourself, right? All right. So, there's this establishment that I usually frequent. And this is not the first time, but this is like the second time I've noticed something. Before I tell my story, let me ask y'all a question. As far as gratuities go, do you feel like gratuities should be added for a party of one? Now, for me personally, I've never seen that. I've always seen gratuities be added for like maybe like parties of four, five, six, seven, whatever, right? And like really, really like nice establishments. All right, so where I live at is like really small. It's a small little town or whatever. And there's a restaurant that I like to go to because I love steak, right? All right. So one day I went there and I had a dinner or whatever. And like just me by myself, the dinner was like maybe like 170 or something, right? Don't judge me, judge your mama. All right, so it was like 170, right? So when the bill came, I noticed that they added an additional like gratuity on top of it. So it had to be maybe like $40, right? So I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm not tripping about it because I'm just like, maybe they're doing something different. They're doing something new. So I paid it, right? All right, which brings me back to tonight. So tonight I went out because I was like, you know what? I need to get out the house. I've been in the house all day. Whoop de whoop. Like, let me take care of myself. Like, let me treat me. Okay. So I went out tonight and same establishment. I'm chilling. I got maybe like, let's say 3 glasses of Prosecco. Prosecco was like $9 a bottle or a cup, right? So it came up to $27. I got a salad. The salad was like $15. And then I got a surf and turf. The surf and turf was like $79. I wish I knew how to like insert pictures and stuff, but I don't. So we just gonna roll with it. So when my bill came, right? My bill was like 122. But then I noticed they added gratuity on top of that. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, so a bill that was like 121 is now like 151 or like 155 or something like that, right? So I was like, once again, I'm not tripping. I'm just like, okay, maybe it's really something going on that I don't know about, right? So I called my mom and I was like, hey, mom, like, usually, do you ever notice like you go to a restaurant and it's like just you? And do they add a gratuity on top of your bill if you're by yourself? And my mom was like, no, that's crazy. That's outrageous, right? Okay, whatever. So the way who was taking care of me, I asked him, I was like, hey, can you come over here for a second? And not that I was being abrasive, I wasn't complaining. I just really, really wanted to know like what was going on. So side note, this restaurant, right? The owner, okay, so it's like he had another restaurant, right? And um it was called Shane's Steakhouse, right? And then he had a new restaurant that's called The Landing. Now, the owner is always there. So the restaurants are literally like this. It's in a hotel, right? So one side you have the Shane Steakhouse, and then you have his newest restaurant, which is The Landing, which is also like a steakhouse, right? All right. I just wanted to let y'all know that. So Shane's Steakhouse, the oldest restaurant, it has like a lot of waitresses and waiters, and it has a big bar and all of these things, right? Now in the Landing, it's smaller because it's a little bit more like upscale, and it only has two hostesses. So the people that like greet you, and then those same two people will take care of your meals, right? I get it. I understand that. Now remember, one person owns both of these establishments, okay? All right. So I asked my waiter, I was like, hey, what is this with the added gratuity? Like I was like, this is the second time I've came here and I noticed that there's an added gratuity for only one person. And I was like, I'm not complaining. I'm just trying to figure out why do you guys do that way? And the guy told me, he was like, oh, it's just the way it is. That's the wrong answer. So I said, okay, no worries. So I let him go, and then it was the other waiter, the waitress that's there. It's two of them. I said, "Hey, is Mr. Shane here?" And she was like, "Yeah, is there something going on?" I was like, "Yeah, I just want to speak to him, please," like that. So she said, "No worries, I'll get him." So she goes and gets Mr. Shane, right? So Mr. Shane comes to the table, and I'm just like, "Hey," I said, you know me because I came to this new restaurant when you guys opened, like, when you were like a couple days into like, expanding and having this new restaurant." And I was like, I never noticed that there was an added gratuity like on a check in the beginning. It was always, your check, your sales tax or whatever. And then you guys gave the option for a person to leave whatever they feel like their waitress or their waiter deserved. So I said, "Is there something new going on?" And he was like, "Oh, well, yeah." He was like, "Yeah. So what we do now is we automatically, it doesn't matter how many people are eating, we automatically add a gratuity into your check." Side eye. And I was like, "Well, why do you guys do that?" And he was like, "Well, because on this side, the new restaurant, there's only two people that work here. They greet you when you come in, and then they also take your orders and all of that. But on the other side at his big restaurant, there's many more people that work there." So he said, "We do this because," before he answered, I was like, "Is it because you guys are slow, or like what is going on? Like, are you guys trying to make up or whatever?" He was like, "So yeah," he was like, "When they first opened the new restaurant, like business was booming. But as the months went on, like business on this side declined, and it might be because of the prices, because like I said, it's a little bit more upscale." So he was like, "So yeah, what we do automatically now is we add a gratuity to any check. We add a gratuity to any check because we want to make sure that those two hostesses get a tip at the end of the night." So I understood what he was saying, but in a way, I'm just like, well, in my mind, I didn't say it to him, but I'm like, well, what if you don't feel like these people deserve the gratuity that you're adding on to somebody's check? Like, what if they were like shitty? Like, what if they didn't come to check on you after they placed your order? What if they, you know what I'm saying? Like, they forgot to bring something. Like, how do you how do you think like your business is gonna be productive or successful if you automatically add in gratuities? Like, because when I give a gratuity to somebody, it's because they deserve it, right? It's not because, oh, the manager decides that, hey, no matter what, if you get a shitty service or you get a bad service or you get a great service, like they're still gonna get a good tip. That's not how it works. Like, and I feel like he's actually putting his foot in his mouth by doing that. And then he was like, "Well, if the gratuity is an issue, we can always take it off." And I'm like, "No, it's fine. You can leave it there, right? But give somebody the option. Like, you give a person an option. Like, you don't just say, okay, yeah, your check was 121 and I'm going to put a $40 gratuity on top of that just to make sure that my workers get a tip." Like, it doesn't work that way. But maybe it's just me. I don't know. Like, I love the restaurant, but the second time, like, I'm like, that's really putting a bad taste in my mouth, because what if I don't feel like they deserve the tip that you automatically added into my check? And I know people are gonna be like, "Oh, well, you can take it off." And yes, I can do that, right? But I'd rather not, because then I don't want to look like, oh, she don't have no money or she broke or whatever, whoop de whoop. But like, just give me the option. Like, give me the option to tip them how I feel they need to be tipped. I get it, those are your workers and you're trying to make sure that they have a tip at the end of the night. But what if their service is trash? Then what? If your service is trash, I don't want to give you no freaking $30. Like, if you have bad service, like if your service is bad, I want to give you a $40 tip. Like, how do y'all know people got all this money to be giving people tips like that? Like, just make it make sense. But that was it. Thank y'all for coming to my TED Talk tonight. And y'all can chime in and tell me how y'all feel respectfully. Be respectful, okay? Because I don't want to have to act black. So be respectful. But yeah, that was my night. I hope y'all have a great night. Toodles. Until next time.